The UFC, the premier organization in MMA, has given us countless adrenaline-pumping moments, replete with jaw-dropping knockouts, stunning submissions, and unexpected comebacks. But what are the most badass moments in UFC history? Ready to plunge into the thrilling journey? Let's find out. Teixeira's astonishing comeback. Glover Teixeira, once on the brink of retirement after a mixed spell between 2016 and 2018, amazingly defied his age and crafted a winning streak of 5 fights. His exceptional run earned him a title fight against Jan Blachowicz at UFC 267. Harnessing his top-tier grappling skills, Teixeira at 42 dominated Blachowicz, securing the UFC light heavyweight championship via submission. He now stands as the second oldest champion in UFC history, following Randy Couture. Oliveira's decade-long triumph. Charles Oliveira, a UFC fighter from Brazil, finally grasped his championship dream after a decade. At UFC 262's main event, Oliveira claimed the UFC lightweight championship with a knockout win over Michael Chandler. His first title defense came against Dustin Poirier at UFC 269, where he triumphed again, this time with a submission win. Oliveira's journey and performance have crowned him an exciting and much-admired champion entering 2022. Namajunas, champion reborn. In one of the most exciting twists in MMA history, Rose Namajunas, also known as Thug Rose, reclaimed the UFC strawweight championship with a stunning first-round knockout of Zhang Weili. After losing her title in 2019, she made a victorious comeback against Jessica Andrade and was ready to face Weili. Her spectacular win was crowned with an unforgettable post-fight moment when her coach asked, "Who is the best?" and she confidently replied, "I am the best." This remarkable victory propelled her popularity even further. In a rematch with Weili in November 2021, Thug Rose successfully defended her title, demonstrating her unparalleled prowess once again. Usman Covington, respect emerges. UFC history has seen few rivalries as intense as Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Both skilled, fearlessly competitive fighters. They've gone toe-to-toe in the octagon twice over 2 years. The stage was set for their rematch at UFC 268's main event in November 2021. Usman against bested Covington, defending his title for a second time. But the real surprise came post-battle. The rivals, known for their years-long animosity, shared a moment of mutual respect. Their embrace after 5 rounds of war was a remarkable display that turned heads in the UFC community. Tate's remarkable comeback. After a 5-year break, Miesha Tate made an impressive return to UFC. Her last bout before her hiatus was at UFC 205. Ending in defeat against Raquel Pennington. Despite the long pause, Cupcake bounced back on July 17, 2021 with a 3rd-round TKO victory over Marion Reneau. Although Tate suffered a unanimous decision loss against Ketlin Vieira in her following fight, she demonstrated she still has the chops to spar with the world's top fighters. Poirier's triumphant revenge. 2021 was a banner year for Dustin Poirier, proving his mettle as a top-notch lightweight fighter. The main event of UFC 257 saw Poirier square off against superstar Conor McGregor in a long-awaited rematch. Poirier smartly slowed McGregor by targeting his legs with kicks in the first round. The second round saw the Diamond raining blows on McGregor, ultimately knocking him out with a swift left hook. After 7 years, Poirier finally had his payback, making him a bona fide UFC superstar. Diaz's unyielding spirit. Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards clashed at UFC 263 in a thrilling 5-round bout. Edwards consistently struck Diaz with an array of hits and kicks, commanding the majority of the fight. Yet in the final round, Diaz unleashed a perfectly timed 1-2 punch combo that rocked Edwards and sent the crowd wild. Even though he lost to Edwards in a unanimous decision, Diaz once again showcased his toughness and never-say-die attitude. Usman's thunderous triumph. Many thought Jorge Masvidal, with a full training camp this time, would seriously challenge Usman in their rematch at UFC 261, the first event with fans since early 2020. However, in a moment that shocked everyone, Usman delivered a devastating right-hand punch in round 2, knocking out Masvidal instantly. This unforgettable knockout, hailed as the best of 2021, skyrocketed Usman's reputation as a fearsome champion and global superstar. Lawler's legendary standoff. Robbie Lawler, a formidable force in MMA, faced Rory MacDonald in 2013 at UFC 167. earning a closely contested split decision victory. Their rematch occurred at UFC 189 in 2015, where Lawler's UFC welterweight title was on the line. Lawler managed to outmaneuver McDonald for 3 rounds, but the tide changed when McDonald landed a powerful right head kick, rattling Lawler and unleashing a barrage of punishing hits. One of the most memorable moments came at the end of the 4th round. With both fighters exhausted, Lawler spat a spray of blood on the mat, triggering an iconic stare-down with McDonald. The tension was palpable. In January 2016 at UFC 195, Lawler faced Carlos Condit in another titanic battle. Both fighters were knocked down in the initial round, setting the stage for an epic showdown. The last round saw Lawler pinning Condit against the fence, hitting him with wide hooks and leaving Condit staggering like a zombie. Remarkably, Condit endured and returned fire. With the last bell ringing, both Lawler and Condit leaned into the octagon fence, gasping for air and completely drained. This stunning display of tenacity and resilience received a standing ovation from the crowds in Nevada, securing these 3 fighters' status as all-time greats in MMA arena. Lawler's monumental face-off against McDonald and Condit, characterized by their shared exhaustion and unmistakable determination, undoubtedly hold the most unforgettable moments in MMA history. These bouts, each filled with high-stakes drama and indomitable spirit, will forever remain etched in the annals of MMA. Diaz mocks the Spider. In January 2015, UFC 183, Nick Diaz faced Anderson the Spider Silva in a middleweight bout. This was Silva's return to the ring after recovering from a severe leg injury sustained in a previous fight against Chris Weidman. Silva, known for his counter-striking style, was tentative due to his freshly healed leg. Diaz took full advantage of this situation in the first round of their 5-round main event. Diaz was bold and audacious, turning his back on Silva and even adjusting his shorts, essentially mocking Silva. But Diaz wasn't done yet. In an act of ultimate taunting, he did the unthinkable. He lay down on the mat right in front of Silva, one of the most respected fighters in MMA history, openly daring him to strike. Diaz maintained a laid-back, beach-like pose in the octagon, seemingly unfazed by the presence of the Spider. In this event, Diaz went beyond showboating. He displayed a unique, fearless style, taunting his legendary opponent with unrivaled audacity. McGregor's notorious triumph. Conor McGregor, famed for his audacious antics, faced off against Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205 event in New York. After 2 enthralling fights with veteran Nate Diaz, they headlined this historic event, the first of its kind in New York's legendary Madison Square Garden. With the typical bravado, McGregor started the fight in relaxed fashion, cleverly hitting Alvarez from unexpected directions. This skilled Irish fighter used his left hand, powerful as a piston, to knock Alvarez to the mat 3 times in the initial round. The second round saw McGregor in full toll mode, placing his hands behind his back and goading Alvarez to strike, an offer the latter wisely avoided. However, his caution couldn't save him. McGregor soon delivered a perfect 4-punch combination, knocking Alvarez out. McGregor, also known as the Notorious, stylish, dethroned the Underground King, Alvarez, adding another spectacular win to his MMA record. Diaz's unsurprising victory. Nate Diaz faced Conor McGregor twice in 2016 at UFC 196 in March and UFC 202 in August. Diaz triumphed in their first meeting with a submission win, while he narrowly lost to McGregor in a tightly contested rematch. Impressively, Diaz accepted the first match on just 11 days' notice, stepping in for an injured Rafael dos Anjos. In the first round of UFC 196, McGregor managed to land some superficial blows to Diaz's face, known for its scar tissue. Despite the blood and bruises, Diaz kicked off the second round with renewed energy, while McGregor appeared fatigued, possibly due to his numerous failed capoeira kicks. Displaying courage and grit, Diaz, now with a bloodied face, started to take control of the match. He connected a flawless 1-2 punch to McGregor's chin. McGregor, now dazed, attempted a feeble takedown, but Diaz was quick to respond. He immediately took advantage, pinning McGregor and securing a submission win with a rear naked choke. Following the fight, Diaz stole the spotlight during an interview with Joe Rogan in the octagon. In a statement as powerful as wrestling superstars, Diaz confidently proclaimed, "I'm not surprised, motherfuckers."
Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised.
Showcasing his fierce fighting spirit and uncanny ability to entertain. From Diaz's shocking victories to McGregor's notorious triumphs, we've witnessed a plethora of awe-inspiring moments in the UFC. But the journey doesn't end here. More excitement awaits in future matches. Which of these moments did you find the most badass? We're eager to hear your thoughts, so drop a comment below.